Hello and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. It's Sunday morning. Welcome, you guys. My name is Charlene, Reverend Charlene, and we're so glad that you joined us here today. Our theme for 2024 is a grand rising. This month, our focus is practice makes imperfect. So today's message is Imperfect Practices, and it will be given by myself, Reverend Charlene. So I'm so glad that you joined us today. Um, yes, and please feel free to add into the Zoom chat or in the comments if you're watching on Facebook or on our website, any prayer requests that you have. And if I can see them in the Zoom chat, I'll fold those requests in to our community prayer at the end of the talk. We do spiritual mind treatments, which is our way of praying in an affirmative manner for that which is our desire. So I'm so grateful that you joined us. I invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we officially begin our service by playing this video.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be a service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
This moment, perfect moment. So we're breathing in and out as we're watching this beautiful scenery move by us. Breathing in this moment, breathing out perfect moment. This moment, perfect moment. Your mind begins to wander, asking, what about all those other places where there's no perfection in the moment? Right now, something's going wrong. Bring our mind back to the breath. This moment is a perfect moment because there are people who are helping. Compassion that is growing. This moment, perfect. Breathing in, embracing all that is. All is well. Flowing like the waves in this picture. In and out, all is well. So it is. Oh, and so it is. And now I will introduce Soul Pajamas.
Good morning. We had a hard time finding a song that really was a perfect meditation today. So Dan just wrote one.
The beauty of a person is all the imperfections, far from the visions we dream. But we get there anyway, not a straight line, but a maze, full of surprises along the way. Practice makes progress, That's what they say. Dead ends, detours, and delays. So buckle in and enjoy the ride for as long as it takes. The nature of a person is many contradictions. The future is mostly unknown. Now is the only moment that matters. Make your mistakes and keep moving on. Practice makes progress. That's what they say. Dead ends, detours, and delays. So buckle in and enjoy the ride for as long as it takes. For as long as it takes.
That was beautiful. You just wrote that. That's amazing, Dan. Such a talent. And thank you, Aaron, as well. Wow. This feels so good. So today's talk is similar, and I'm so glad you wrote that because life is not a straight line. It's got a bunch of twists, and it's like a maze. Yes, you might get to the end, or you might get to a dead end and have to backtrack. Sounds like a little bit like my life. I don't know if it's sounding a little bit like yours. The way is curved, yet we walk on it. But there's a thing. There's something happening. Today, right now, there's a lot of worry going on. Have you felt it? I call it like a low-grade background anxiety that's just kind of humming. And some of my friends tell me, oh, it's because of the election. It's a little crazy right now. I think that's true. And it's also got something to do with me trying to control everything, trying to keep everything from going nuts. And much like a person who's playing whack-a-mole, there's always another mole who's going to pop his head out of the sand or the ground or wherever the moles live. Get the point. And why are we whacking moles? It's kind of violent. But anyway, the point is that the more things seem to go wrong, the less in control I feel. And then I start getting that, oh no, what if? What if? And then, of course, I am a very creative being. I start thinking about the worst case scenarios. Mind you, all this is happening within a few seconds. I go on these journeys. I don't know if this is true for you, but these journeys where I take myself with my beautiful creativity and I go worst case scenario and what could happen. And then I look around, I'm like, oh, wait, I still have to respond to that question someone just asked, or I'm in the middle of writing an email. Where did I just go? The presence of mind is never more important than it is right now. We have to grab our attention and bring it back. And I think that that's what's being asked for in this moment today, in this unfolding of the world. And so what does that really look like? Well, it looks like letting go of the perfect idea of how things were supposed to go. I know, I'll say that again. Maybe we could let go of the idea of how things should be going. This perfect idea that when we first started whatever journey we were on, it was supposed to be this way, but life had other plans. How can we shift? How can we change our energy based on what's present, what's available right now? How can we keep our balance right now in this moment? It just reminds me of a seesaw or any other type of unstable structure where you're always shifting your balance. You have to be very present, and be aware of what's going on so you can shift and respond. Because if there's one thing I know to be true, one thing that's absolutely never going to change is the fact that everything changes. And so the search for imperfection is a little weird. Sorry, the search for perfection is a little weird, because if everything's going to change, everything's changing even now. Well, then what happens if I were to arrive at perfection? I probably wouldn't recognize it because it would be changing. For us to grasp onto these ideas of best case scenario and then perfect, and then point it at other people and judge them for not being perfect, is a lot of busy work that's keeping us from something bigger. And the bigger thing, it's not news. I don't have a news flash for you that you haven't heard before. But it's always coming back to, we are one with all the things around us. We are one with the horrible person you read about on the news. That's us. We are one with all those, the things we look at and go, ah, that's horrible. That's us. We never get to fully disengage from what is, because we are one with all of it. That's the news that we'd love to just put in the back and keep it on the back burner and keep the illusion of us and them going, so that we can have our prejudices and we can have our hate and we can have our negative reactions to all the things we see. And then we can judge them because they're not perfect. And we can make a list of all the ways in which they fail. And all this stuff is great, busy work for our brains and for our minds, because somehow we want to feel like we're in control somehow and we can manage this. But you know what we really need to do is let go. Let go and lean back into the divine that holds us, that has it, that has a bigger idea for what we're really doing. And then allow that to inform us. What are our next steps? Because I'm here to say, we're not supposed to sit back and relax and eat popcorn and just watch the world burn. Not the right answer. No. But what we should do is perhaps sit and contemplate how that's me. How is that me? That's us. Instead of those people, how is that me? And then if I can get that love and get it growing to encompass everyone, even the people that are really behaving badly right now, then how can I ask what's mine to do next? How can I ask what's mine to do? Dr. Martin Luther King wrote in his letters back in the 60s, he said, listen, we're going to love you. It was a letter, and he said something to the effect of, yeah, well, we're not gonna follow your little segregationist rules. We're going to protest. But I mean, because we're not doing that. We're just not. But we're going to show up and we're going to love you. And you're going to act crazy and you're going to hurt some of us, and some of us may die. And we're going to keep loving you. And we're going to love you so much that you're going to change. And we're going to bring you in and we will change you, because this love is bigger than any of this stuff you're trying. And trust me, they were trying it. And the love, this letter of love, having that transformative effect, it did sustain itself. And so what I want to say today is, maybe that's where we need to go to in our minds. So it's two-pronged, isn't it? I'm not going to allow you to set these rules that affect my sovereignty, my rights. I'm going to stand up against it. I'm going to show up often. I'm going to call you out every time I see it. And I'm going to love you. What I'm not going to do is return hate, because then people are just fighting and it's all terrible. And eventually those that are spewing hate and just fighting against something, have you ever seen a Tai Chi master who just allows the attacker to come at them And then with their front motion, just sort of turns and deflects and takes them down with very little effort. Because the attacker's coming at them with such energy, that energy, if the Tai Chi master stood straight, it would really hurt him and he would just take on that kinetic force. But to be able to just move, allow that energy to go past him, grab an arm and flip him, and just kind of, oh, looks like you fell. It's that kind of energy. Let's not be so combative. Let's not be so negative. That just takes us down into the mud. But instead of that, how can we first stop seeking for everybody to act perfect? Is not going to happen, not even ourselves. Let that go. And then start to practice some principle. Now, what principle are we practicing when we look upon this other and bring them into our circle of love? Again, not letting them get away with their behavior, but also not doing anything out of a sense of spite or hate. That just hurts us. Well, Ernest Holmes says this: what the world needs is spiritual conviction followed by spiritual experience. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. You see, it's far easier to teach the truth than it is to practice it. That's Ernest Holmes. He'd rather see a world where people are practicing rather than just talking about it. And I was looking at some of the stuff on the news over the last week, and I was watching how certain ideas are just trounced upon a stage and then given like, oh yeah, we're just going to do this. We're going to go for separation, segregation. We're going to go for separating rights from certain people just because of the way they look. And we're going to go, this is our platform and we're going to stand on it. It's a platform of bullying, othering, and just inequality. And I thought about something. I'm like, and then these people want to use the Bible as their teaching instead of actual like things. And Bible's fine, but can we add, not in school, but can we add like actual historical? But let's just stick with this and follow me down this train of thought. As I'm thinking about this, I'm like, what do they teach their kids? What are the stories that they're going to teach their kids? Because when I was raised, I remember learning about how if you act ugly, ugly things happen. And I remembered stories, whether it was Aesop's fable or just Cinderella, or it's like the good guys always won. They always did. And you could always feel when someone was being oppressed, you could always feel that you were for the underdog and you wanted that person to rise up and win. Even today, as I watch these different movies and storylines, there's a true storyline of good triumphing over bad, because as we know, the long arc of history bends toward justice. We all know what justice is. These are things you can't just erase by putting a few laws in place or getting a few Supreme Court people to say a few things and make it so. No, there's something in each and every one of us. There's a child that's being taught right and wrong. And when that child looks at the parent who is not behaving, I don't know if the cognitive dissonance is ever going to hit. Maybe it won't. Maybe this is something we can discuss later. What's going to happen when the platform for injustice teaches their kids about right and wrong? Do they can you just, even the Bible stories are going to have to change. Like they're going to have to keep the lie going. I don't know how it's going to work. And I just, maybe at that point, someone will be able to raise their hand and say, the emperor has no clothes. Someone, because we have it today. Today, we have a culture and a society that knows the difference between right and wrong. And right now, a lot of people are wrong and they're loud. They're loud about being wrong, which is kind of scary to those who know the difference and they know the higher path. But what I would like to say is that I believe there's far more people who understand high justice, true fairness, and equality. There's those of us who are attracted in a really high way, in a way that's active, to not allowing rights to be trampled over. There are people organizing who will speak up. There are not everybody is just going to bend down and kiss the ring or whatever they call it. It's not going to happen. There are still good things happening. There are still good people. There are still high values that win. And again, I have to know this. I have to know this in my soul because even little children can tell the difference between a bully and someone who loves. And so I'm bringing this story around to, I'm reading a book because right now it's Dharma Day. Let me see, what's the name of this? It's Dharma Day, July 21st. Dharma Day. Dharma, a Buddhist word for right action. And Buddha, as you know, is a historical figure right around 500 BCE. And Buddha, who was Siddhartha, who grew up in a castle surrounded by wealth, never knew a moment of agitation in his life, very wealthy, one day snuck out and saw the streets of India and was like, what is happening right now? There's suffering. People get old. People die. He was like, oh, I believe you guys should have shown me the whole thing because all he knew was abundance and wealth, and his environment was very curated. When he realized there was suffering on the planet, he said, okay, that's it. I'm giving away all my stuff. I'm going to sit here and try to understand suffering, try to understand what's happening right now. And so on July 21st, apparently, Buddha had a meeting, a sermon on a hill. It's called Deer Park. And he had 5 ascetics or followers of the tradition at the time, and he was teaching them. And what he taught them were 8 different ways of sort of finding the right path. It's called the middle way. You don't want to do too much in one direction where all you care about is gluttony and all the sensations of the body. And you also don't want to go so far as to deny everything and hate your body and give away everything and just be terrible. There's something in the middle called the middle way, and there's a whole teaching. So for 25 centuries, this person, Buddha, has a big following, and today is the day they celebrate him. So to that end, I'm listening to this book. And this book is called We Were Made for This. We Were Made for This Time. And the author talks about how she was a Buddhist nun. And when she first took her vows, she thought that she would just, because she became a nun, she thought her life would be perfect, right? And she goes, no, that's the opposite of what happened. She took her vows and moved from whatever little area she was to the nunnery. Oh, what they call the nunnery. The place where all the nuns are. And she said there's a nun that kind of rubbed her the wrong way. And she thought the minute she was blessed with nunhood, she'd go in there and everything would be fine. And she's like, no, I had to see this woman every day. And she's like, that's not what I expected. And she mentions that when we do take on a commitment of a high order of whatever we're called to do, sometimes what you get is more of the thing that you need to make you better. You get more of it. So when we pray for patience, sometimes we get a lot of situations that we can be very impatient with. We pray for some aspect of the divine. Sometimes what we get is a lot of not that, so we can work on it. And so for her, she became a nun. She's thinking, I'm going to be in prayer and service the whole time. And there's Sister Mary. I don't know if that's her name. And here she comes. I could already feel it in my bones. Oh my gosh, you have to see this girl every day. And sometimes, no matter how holy you are, sometimes people just rub you the wrong way. So she had to work through that. But one thing in her teaching in this book that really got to me is something about, okay, she says there are 5 truths that everybody has to get through. And in order for us Westerners to get into the whole accepting everything, living a good life, being happy, We have to accept these 5 things. And I'm going to end up on the last thing because all 5 of them, it would take an hour to talk about. So the first thing is we all will age. There's no getting out of that. We will grow old. The second thing, we will all have ill health to some degree. Can't get out of that. It's going to happen. We will all lose in some way our family members. Now, she says something about losing them doesn't mean they're all going to die before you. No, although that could happen. She said they're going to change in some way. They're going to change. That's their job. Life is all about change. In fact, if you listen, everything I'm listing is all about change. We own none of this. We don't own our youth. We don't own our health. We don't own our family. And further, fourth, we're all going to die. We lose our lives. Hopefully, not all at the same time. We will lose our lives. Think about it. Everyone here is going to not be here. Nobody gets out of that. All right, the fifth one, the one I'm going to hang out on, your actions. Now, your actions, she says, are the only things that you own. You own, and you take these with you when you die. You own how you behaved and the ripple effect that it had on others and on this planet. That is insane. I mean, it's true, right? Think about this. There's my youth, well, that's going away, right? Every day, oh, see another lie. My health, let's hope it stays up, but you got to keep that. All of these things are just here temporarily. These actions I'm taking, what I said to whom, how I behaved in the face of something, how I made someone feel. That's what sticks. And in those stories where they have those end of life reviews, apparently when we die, our whole life flashes before us and we get to experience how we made others feel. It makes you think twice, doesn't it? It makes you think each day, in every moment, even this moment, how can I be a blessing? How can I be love? How can I be love? Because in this moment, I'm thinking, I was watching a couple news stories over the week, and I see people trotted out onto the stage espousing things I disagree with that I know are not loving actions. And it's kind of comforting to think that those actions are going to be what they get to own up to when they go. And how can I not make that worse? How can I not make it worse by responding to hate with hate? So it is mine to do to take the love that I have, that I am privy to, that I can sit and practice my meditation and my prayer and my treatments and my affirmations and know for me that there's all divine love going on right here, and then spill it over to you. And then offer it energetically wherever I see it, while also taking action to stop the harm if I see harm. Because these are the things that I don't get to disengage with. These actions are going to follow me. That's so cool. So in the last piece I want to mention is a little bit of something I was listening to another thing. And it was about habits. It was about how humans have evolved over thousands of years. And if you just think about it right now, think about 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago, what would be your day-to-day? I feel like what we worry about would be a little different, right? Wouldn't you think? What we worry about every day right now, it's still the level of angst, I imagine. I imagine that 1,000 years ago, let's do the math. So we're talking 1,024. Did they even have I think all they had was candles, I feel like. So I would probably be worrying about, okay, the wax is going to drip. Like there's little things I would worry about, but imagine now we have a world where everything is super comfortable and we don't want to get out of our comfort zone very much because we're not used to it. We have a pampered life. So, this last piece, what I want to offer to you is what if every day you and I did something a little uncomfortable? Because I feel that that's what will get our connection back with other people. That we've become a little too isolated and a little too buffered and a little too siloed to really care that much about other people. You have to go out of your way to actually get into a stranger's face and give them something they didn't already have. What if we did that? What if next week, this coming week, we did something every day consciously to be a blessing to someone so that we could feel a little more grounded on this planet, a little more connected to each other? This is my quest for you. Now, I'm not saying that when you practice that loving kindness in action, that it's going to feel great. It might feel scary. Good. Feel scared. Because when we feel alive, involved, and we're doing something a little scary, you know what we're not doing? We're not doom scrolling. We're not binge eating out of boredom. We're not doing all the things that we end up doing because we're a little too comfortable and no, a little bit uncomfortable every single day will wake us up, connect us in this world that we're living in, and maybe take the edge off of some habits that we wish we didn't. So let's try it. Let's prove this to each other, and we'll get back together and we'll explore how our world changed as a result of it. All right. So today, I hope that you have some things you're going to be working on, not looking for perfection, but embracing imperfection and embracing a little bit of uncomfortability in the process. Let's go within. I know that there's a divine energy moving through each and every one of us, no matter where we are. Each of us are plugged in. We couldn't not be plugged into the divine life that breathes itself as us. And this very in just distinct life, this very distinct connection that we each have has something special about it. There's something special about each and every one of us, that God's trying to know itself through us in these quirky ways and these little things that are just ours to do. And so I speak my word that we make ourselves super present and super available to this energy that's just pulsing through our lives. And that with this overwhelming, over joyful sense of love, we fill ourselves up and we go out into the world. And from this overflow, we are a blessing to others. Because as we move through each situation, we are bringing a higher vibration, something that makes everything just a little better because we were a part of it. And we do this moment by moment. Every moment is new. Every choice can be different because we can choose. And so I give thanks that this community is working individually and together to do wonderful things to make this entire world a better place. I can't wait to watch how it unfolds, knowing that it's all perfectly happening right here, right now. And I release my word into the law, knowing that it is so. And so it is. All right. And we have music.
Yeah, we don't have to do it there. It's already done.
This song was written by a fella who everybody knows, whose highest dharmic calling was to help you accept your imperfections and to recognize what unconditional love feels like. And that would be Fred Rogers. It's you I like. It's not the things you wear. It's not the way you do your hair. But it's you I like. The way you are right now. The way down deep inside you. Not the things that hide you. Not your toys. They're just beside you. But it's you I like. Every part of you. Your skin, your eyes, your feelings, whether old or new. I hope that you remember, even when you're feeling blue, that it's you I like. It's you yourself. It's you. It's you I like. I think you need to hear that again. It's you I like. It's not the things you wear. It's not the way you do your hair. But it's you I like. The way you are right now. The way down deep inside you. Not the things that hide you. Not your toys, no, they're just beside you. But it's you I like. Every part of you. Your skin, your eyes, your feelings, whether old or new. I hope that you remember, even when you're feeling blue, that it's you I like. It's you yourself. It's you. It's you I like.
Yay, that was really great. I like that song. Aw, Mr. Rogers. Okay, everyone. It is now time to discuss our giving program. As you know, that we are an organization that loves to give back. So it's now time to bless the donations that you give to our center so that our center turns around and is a blessing to the rest of the world. Your donation supports CSL Leesburg, all the things you see, and we need all the Zoom and the Vimeo and all the stuff that we do to keep it going. Also, it supports our home office in Colorado, and it also supports our surrounding community. So look at the screen, many different ways to give through PayPal, checks, or online. Just visit us at cslleesburg.org. And please go ahead and take your gift, whether it's an electronic gift or a physical gift, hold it over your heart. Say with me our affirmation. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to this day in which I live. And so it is. Now for announcements, we just have our alternating dream study, alternating Saturdays at 10 a.m. Just come on over to the CSL Leesburg site, press the Zoom button, 10 a.m. next Saturday, and we'll help you deconstruct your dreams. My last night dream was insane. It was like, what are we doing? I'm sure Erin and the rest of the team will tell me what I'm doing in that dream. I think I know, but it's fun. Come on and join us, and you will figure out what your higher self is trying to tell your actual self. Okay. It is time for our affirmation so we can close out service, knowing that after you hang up here with us, please come on over to the Zoom room and we can share all our pearls together. We'd love to see you in Zoom. But for now, I will let you go with this affirmation. Repeat after me. I am love. You are love. And you can point out to whoever's in the room with you and tell them they're love. I'll tell my dog, you're love. She's like, what, what am I now? And then put your hands up in the air, wave them around, and say, it's all love.
It's all love.
It's all love. And if you could do a little wiggle dance, that works too. Okay, love you guys. I'll see you in the Zoom room. Please have a wonderful week. Blessing. Okay.